Hello and welcome to Ivycreates. I am Deanna Carroll, and what I'm showing you is some of the items we'll be using in our project. This cracked me up because it was chenille stems, it's gold ones I had laying around. These are scarves that I had gotten from the Dollar Tree. I got 3 of them, and welcome, like I said, and I got the sign from the Dollar Tree and the little form on the back. This chenille stems I already had, and they called them tinsel sticks. I thought that was funny, or the old-fashioned term is pipe cleaners. So what we're going to do is attach our sign to the front of our form, and I'm going to turn it over and slip the sign under it and line it up so that because it has the 2 holes in the top where it did have some raffia or some jute there that I cut it off. So we're going to line it those so that the 2 holes line up right by those other lines, so that I can put in the chenille stem and make sure that it's really permanently there and not going anywhere, because if I'm putting something on my front door, I kind of like it to stay and not leave. So I initially put glue down on the board and glued the wreath to it, and now I am going back in with the gold chenille stems. Would have been better for silver, but I wasn't hunting for it, to be honest with you. I wasn't going hunting for my silver ones. And so that didn't cost me anything. So the total of this is going to be $5. Dollar Tree has got everyone has got a little different on their craft section. But it's been amazing. It's been pretty amazing, the stuff I've found and made from Dollar Tree. In fact, my next project is going to be really adorable. It's a little market window. Stay tuned for that. I should be uploading that within a couple of days. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like what you see here. So the first scarf, I put it on either side, and I put a little bit through it. And all I was doing was tying it to the wreath itself and trying to figure a couple of different ways to where it looks nice the way it was tied. So the idea that I had with this wreath was to make a bunting on the bottom and make a regular top, but do a bunting type situation on the bottom. So this is where I started with that. And this will be a good lesson, because you don't always end up with what you start with, especially when you're doing things for the first time. And this was done for the first time. It's not I didn't have anything prepared in advance. I had a group of materials, and I decided to put them together. So I had them evenly on both sides, and I brought up the middle to meet, and I attached the middle with a chenille stem. And I'm sorry you can't really see that. My workspace is not really large, so I kind of make do with what I have. So I was trying to figure out how to do it to make it look like a bunting at this point, before I completely changed my mind. And so I put the chenille stem in the center of it and just kind of tied it tight to hold the scarf in place. These are scarves. They were over in the same section as the sign. And they were just for for our holidays, for Dollar Tree for the 4th of July. And, feeling like we had to get some patriotic things going, because we definitely need it. So, at that point, I was pulling up the little pieces. And I wanted to see if it looked like a bunting. And I can't really show you. It was really difficult for it to work. And so what I ended up doing was pulling up the pieces, and I glued them down, and you'll see that in just a second. I hope you're enjoying this music. I was trying to look for something patriotic, however I couldn't really find anything, but I really thought this was like a band sounding effect, and I love the drums in this music. It's really awesome. The little pink thing on my finger I also got at the Dollar Tree. It is like a silicone fingertip, and I gotta tell you, I grew up in a flower shop, My mom was a floral designer for 41 years. I've been growing. I'm 50. I'll be 51. I started at 10 years old working in a flower shop. And this is probably the greatest invention I've ever seen, because I can't tell you how many hot blisters I've gotten from the hot glue and things from my roses and all that stuff. Alright, so now I thought I'd finished the bottom, so I was going to go and just wrap this scarf, this is scarf number 2, around the top. But yeah, they're a lifesaver, because I can put my hand right on the glue where the, with the pink finger and not get hurt. Alright, so I'm beginning to wrap it around. Trying to make sure I've got my little chenille stems pulled out, and this is wide enough that if you decide you want to widen your wrap or your ribbon, you can pull it out and play with it. And that's mostly the part of it, is making sure that you have everything pulled apart so that it looks thick and nice and covered. One of the key things with doing flower design or any kind of thing is to cover your bases. My mom always taught me that. You don't want anybody seeing your work or the working part of the arrangement or whatever you're making. That should all be hidden on the back, or hidden to where it can't be seen from whatever direction you're looking at. So, so here I got what I thought was a decent bunting and little side, flares of stuff. And then I I started with my bow. I was going to make my bow and attach it right there where those chenille stems are. So I wrapped it through the wreath and just pulled the chenille stems down and kind of hit them. So I'm just tying it like I would tie my shoes, and the key to getting a bow proper is how you wrap it like this. I always put the one on the top side, and that way you get both of your streamers pointing down and both of your bow loops pointing up. And I think I redo it again, so you'll see it in a second. Alright, see, I'm straightening out, I'm pulling out the scarf to make it fan on the bow loops, and it is really difficult to see there. So then I got to looking at it, and I'm like, I really didn't like that stuff hanging all over the place. It was bothering me, so I started pulling it in and just covering the back of the wreath with it. All the little pieces and extras that I had, I just tucked in where I could tuck them in. And I glued them down with a glue gun. In the case of most fabrics, and silk flowers are made of fabric. Some of them foam, some of them plastic, some of them other things. But in the case of fabric, glue, the hot glue gun tends to go through it. So you do have to be extra careful when you're putting your glue down and you're trying to press it down and spread it out. You want to use something to cover your fingers. It's just keeps you from getting burned. And believe me, those blisters really hurt. There's a reason why florists keep aloe vera plants around, believe me. I hope you're enjoying this, and I hope you check out my other videos and subscribe and like and share. Please share this with your friends, because someone might need to see it and they might enjoy watching it. So now I pulled it all in, and I have just the bow ribbons hanging, and I'm going to show you in just a second. I'm going to add a few more things to it. You see up there where those chenille stems are? I want to add a few more chenille stems and make it kind of look like fireworks, like what's on the sign. So I did take the time to take that bow and I kind of glued it down so that it wouldn't move too much. Sometimes you got to do it. So what I'm doing is wrapping my chenille stems around a chalk marker. And that's just whatever width you want to do it, and that gives it the curly look, and it's neat and precise, and you can pull it out as much as you want to or just leave it curled up. It's entirely up to you. Like I said, when you make things, you know, I'm giving you a guide. You make it how you want to make it. You make it do what you want to do. Alright, you can see I'm just gluing down the edges of the bows so that they will stay in place and not get too droopy, because it's kind of a, you know, it's a soft fabric scarf, so it doesn't hold up real well. Typically when I make bows, I like to use or prefer to use a wired ribbon, which is always going to be more expensive. But these were $1 and they make good bows and they go a long way. Just for, you know, a little small thing of wired ribbon to make one bow might cost you $5 to $7. So I'm just going to glue it in place and be done with it. Now stay tuned for the end of this video, because I do have a picture of it actually hanging on my front door, because it's so hard to see in this in the little environment that I have right here while I'm trying to put it together. But I do have pictures at the end of the video of it actually hanging on my front door. Okay, so what I did was I pulled out some more chenille stems. I think I had 3 maybe on each side, who knows. And I just put it in where I had twisted those 2 little chenille stems there and twisted it around. And then I went and did the same thing that I did earlier. Just used a chalk marker pen and wrap it around the chalk marker pen so that it gives it consistent and precise loops, and then you can pull it out however you want. It's just like doing ringlet curls on a little girl. Okay, you can see I'm kind of pulling them out, making them look a little crazy and a little different, and that is to basically a representation of a firework. And like I said, you can do this any way you want. If you had red, white, and blue chenille stems, or silver, or white, whatever you had, you can use it. I am definitely a proponent of reusing things and recycling and repurposing. I like to find whatever I can find, either by a thrift store or in a cheap place, or maybe even in my house or a friend's house or a shed. Another favorite place of mine is the ocean, because I do live on the beach here in Mississippi, and the ocean gives you everything you need to survive, and that is the case down here. It will always give you everything you need to survive. So I find all kinds of goodies on the beach you just would not believe. Some of them float up from lands far, far away. It's an amazing thing. We'll get things like monkey pod wood, which grows in the Pacific. I don't know. I mean, and it comes up like driftwood, and some of the woodworkers around here really love to use it. And I'm like, that stuff doesn't even grow near here. I don't know how far it floated to get here. We just recently had a tropical storm, and it left us all kinds of goodies. So I've been sick with shingles, and I've not been able to go out and scavenge, and I wish I could before they clean it all up, because our beach crew is very studious and quick about getting our beaches clean here. They want to make sure there's nothing messy or ugly about our beaches. Alright, you can see they kind of look like they're, crazy like a firework. And we're pretty much done. So you'll get to see the picture in just a few seconds. I was trying to show you, under the camera, but it's, like I said, very hard to see. And if I put the camera up any higher, it makes it look super tiny, and it's just not that tiny. So thank you so much for watching. I've enjoyed this project, and I hope you did too. And please subscribe and share with your friends. Have a wonderful 4th of July.